Over time, women in sports media have faced a variety of prejudice, been labeled terms like sideline Barbie, and have had to work extra hard to prove themselves as reputable journalists. Yet more and more women are continuing to break barriers to attain successful careers and the respect of the public. Meet Kat Barnett and Sam Romano, two women at Montclair State University who are majoring in television and digital media and aspire to land a job in sports media. They've got an incredible start as they both hold prominent media positions on campus. Kat serves as the sports director for 90.3 WMSC FM, Montclair State's student-run radio station, with Sam serving as assistant sports director. In their roles, Kat and Sam oversee all sports-related operations, including live station broadcasts of MSU games, coverage of campus, college, minor, and major league sports, among others. Being in top positions, they recognize the issues women who cover the sports beat face as they've experienced it firsthand.
When I was first given the position, I had a lot of people like, what do you mean? Like, there's a woman in charge, like a woman in sports, and now me and my assistant are both female, and we're running a mostly male department. The hardest thing is people always do a double take. When I show up, I'm like, hey, I'm the sports director, and they're like, they always do a double take, especially from, you know, the athletes or the sports information directors at different schools. It's really interesting, and I always see it, and something that I take note of.
I was in class or something, and somebody was talking about a highlight from one game or something, and I was like, no, that didn't happen. It wasn't that guy. He didn't make that catch. It was someone else. And they were like, no, fighting with me. And I was like, I'm right. I was like, go ahead, look it up. I know I'm right. And I proved them wrong. And they didn't know what to say after that. They were like, oh, wow, she was right. She does know what she's talking about. So sometimes I kind of get like, oh, like guys don't want to admit that they were wrong to like a girl. You kind of have to prove yourself a little bit more than a male would, because they're like, oh, he's a guy, you know, he automatically knows what he's talking about.
I think the biggest problem is that right now it is so male dominated that it's very hard for a woman to find her place. It's very much like a party that we're trying to get invited to. It's hard.
Definitely appearance, because if you're having a general male audience, there is a female audience, but generally male audience, they don't care what the guy who's reporting looks like, but they care what the girl looks like. So if you have a pretty face in front of the camera, you can feed them information. I don't want to do that. You know, if I have airtime or if I get the opportunity to be able to report something, I want it to be my reporting in my words.
Kat and Sam's sports team, that is primarily made up of men, find being led by two females in a male-dominated field encouraging.
But meeting the both of them, they definitely got me to, you know, figure out how to run certain aspects of a broadcast professionally, like how to be a producer, or how to be a board op, or how to run studio, and even in some cases how to do color. So they definitely helped me out in that aspect a whole lot.
I think something that stands out the most, and something that most women do focus on, which is amazing, is the professionalism there is, because there is that doubt that, you know, as a woman they have to prove themselves more in the sports field as opposed to any other field, but the professionalism most of these women show is something that, you know, in most cases I see the women are setting an example for the men, and that's something you you rarely see, especially in the sports field. So it's something that the professionalism is just amazing, and something that, you know, I really wow out when, you know, when you see Kat and Sam and the way they handle everything. It's run like a business, and that's just something that stands out to me a lot.
For women who seek to one day cover sports as a journalist, Kat and Sam offer sound advice.
Sports is so much different than every other kind of media, in my opinion. You watch sports with your family and you hang out with your family, and it's like a social thing as well, and it's positive, and it's something that you can bond over. So if you find yourself liking being in the media world, whether it be behind the camera, in front of the camera, if you can connect the two, like I found that I was able to do, it's awesome. And it gives you something to be excited about every day.
The biggest thing for women is finding other women that are already in the industry and being able to build relationships with them. That's the #1 way. Because you see guys getting mentors, but it's much more important for a female in the industry to get a mentor. A woman needs to have passion to be able to make it in this industry.
I'm learning that as long as you try your hardest, you can do it. Just dive into it and do as much as you can, and just prove that you can do it and have fun. The most important part is to have fun.